Mm. Hello, friends. Hmm, Should I record to YouTube? Yes, I think I will. Mhm. Hmm. Philosophy of logic. Philosophy of logic. Hmm. Hmm. See. Play. There I am. Oh, yes, I'm on the right channel and everything. How come it doesn't say philosophy of logics? Let's see. Hit play. If I hit, if I hit refresh and hit play, what's wrong? Come on, I don't see my. Oh, it's weird. What's going on? I don't get this. Let's see. Oh, there it says philosophy of logic down there. Let's see. Let's see. Hello. 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 Hello, friends, etc. Oh, that heart mean. There's only one person here. That's me. Okay. So I'm going to flip over to Zoom. Zoom. There I am in Zoom. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it wasn't showing up. So, philosophy of logics. It's a difficult topic, uh, so we won't get very far. I have here a book using to learn logic on my own. As you can see, it has a price tag of $6.99. Oh, I got it at brightlightbooks.com at their physical store. And so I got it for $7 a few weeks ago. And let's see what's there. I'm writing notes to a couple of pages. So the last time I looked at it, let's see, I looked at the preface. The preface. I flip the camera, and there you go. So I read some of the preface. Where it says, starts off by saying the century since the publication of Frege's Begriff Schrift has seen a tremendous growth in the development and study of logical systems. Frege's Begriff Schrift. Begriff Schrift. Its German name, Frege, is an important figure in logic. So if we go, wait a minute. If we go to share and we go over here to share website, then we will be able to go to, say, bing.com maybe, and share, for example, Frege. So we, Frege. How come it doesn't look things up? Frege. There's Gottlob Frege. In Spanish, it says matemático y filósofo alemán. His full name is Friedrich Ludwig Gottlob Frege. Look, so he was born in 1948, right? And in 1925, he passed away. He transmigrated. No, what's another word for it? Transitioned. 1925. So let's look at the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. So what does it say? He essentially reconceived the discipline of logic by constructing a formal system which, in effect, constituted the first predicate calculus. In this formal system, Frege developed an analysis of quantified statements and formalized the notion of a proof in terms that are still accepted today. Frege then demonstrated that one could use his system to resolve theoretical mathematical statements in terms of simpler logical and mathematical notions. One of the axioms that Frege later added to his system in the attempt to derive significant parts of mathematics from logic proved to be inconsistent. Nevertheless, his definitions, that is, of the predecessor relation and the concept of natural number and methods, for example, for deriving the axioms of number theory, constituted a significant advance. To ground his views about the relationship of logic and mathematics, Frege conceived a comprehensive philosophy. Oh, the word comprehensive. It's interesting. I was in a meetup that 52 Living Ideas has on Wednesdays, and it's comprehensivism. Comprehensitivism, is that the word? Comprehensivism. I have to check. Is it comprehensitivism or comprehensivism? I think it's comprehensivism. So Frege conceived a comprehensive philosophy of language that many philosophers still find insightful, though recent scholarship suggests that Frege borrowed a significant number of elements in his philosophy of language from the Stoics. Well, moreover, his lifelong project of showing that mathematics was reducible to logic was not successful. Oh, mathematics reducible to logic was not successful. So let's see. So let's see. So let's look at the logic and philosophy of mathematics. The basis of Frege's term logic and predicate calculus in an attempt to realize Leibniz's ideas for a universal formal language and a rational calculus. Frege developed a formal notation for regimenting thought and reasoning. Though this notation was first outlined in his Schrift, 1879, the most mature statement of Frege's system was in his two-volume Grundgesetz der Arithmetik, 1893 to 1903. That's 10 years. That means he took 10 years to produce, I suppose. Frege's two systems are best characterized as term logics, since all of the complete expressions are denoting terms. Frege analyzed ordinary predication in these systems, and so they can also be conceived as predicate calculi. A predicate calculus is a formal system, a formal language, and a method of proof in which one can represent valid inferences among predications, that is, among statements in which properties are predicated of objects. In this subsection, we shall examine the most basic elements of Frege's 1893 to 1903 term logic and predicate calculus. These are the statements involving function applications and the simple predications which fall out as a special case. The basis of Frege's term logic. In Frege's term logic, all of the terms and well-formed formulas are denoting expressions. These include a simple names. These include A, simple names of objects like 2 and pi. B, complex terms which denote objects like 2 to the second power and like 3 plus 1. And C, sentences, which are also complex terms. The complex terms in B and C are formed with the help of incomplete expressions, which signify functions, such as the unary no, unary squaring function and the binary addition function. In these functional expressions, the parentheses with nothing in it is used as a placeholder for what Frege called the arguments of the function. The placeholder reveals that the expressions signifying function are, of Frege's view, incomplete and stand in contrast to complete expressions, such as those in A, B, and C. Though Frege thought it inappropriate to call the incomplete expressions that signify functions names, we shall sometimes do so in what follows, though the reader should be warned that Frege had reasons for not following this practice. Thus, a mathematical expression such as 2 to the second denotes the result of applying the function in like parentheses closed with a space inside to the second, applying the space to the number 2 as the argument, namely the number 4 would be the result. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 to the power 2 is 4. Okay, similarly, the expression 7 plus 1 denotes the result of applying the binary function to add, and there's the placeholders, 2 of them. So to the numbers 7 and 1 are arguments in that order. Even the sentences of Frege's mature logical system are complex, denoting terms. They are terms that denote truth values. Frege distinguished 2 truth values, the true and the false, which he took to be objects. The basic sentences of Frege's system are constructed using the expression in parentheses closed with a space inside equals parentheses closed with a space inside, which signifies a binary function that maps a pair of objects x and y to the true if x is identical to y, and maps x and y to the false otherwise, period. In other words, if they're not true, then they're false. And a sentence such as 2 to the power 2 equals 4, therefore denotes the truth value, the true. While the sentence 2 to the power 2 equals 6 denotes the false. An important class of these identity statements are statements of the form f of x equals y, where f of something is any unary function, that is, function of a single variable. X is the argument of the function, and f of x is the value of the function for the argument x. Similarly, f of x comma y equals z is an identity statement involving a binary function of two variables, and so on for functions of more than two variables. So if we replace a complete name appearing in a sentence by a placeholder, the result is an incomplete expression that signifies a special kind of function which Frege calls a concept. Concepts are functions which map every argument to one of the truth values. Thus, something is greater than 2 denotes the concept being greater than 2, which maps every object greater than 2 to the true and maps every other object to the false. Similarly, something to the power 2 equals 4 denotes the concept that which when squared is identical to 4. Frege would say that any object that a concept maps to the true falls under the concept. Thus, the number 2 falls under the concept that which when squared is identical to 4. In what follows, we use lowercase expressions like f of something to talk generally about functions, and the uppercase like capital F of something to talk more specifically about those functions which are concepts. Frege supposed that a mathematical claim such as 2 is prime should be formally represented as P of 2. The verb phrase is prime is thereby analyzed as denoting the concept of priming something, which maps primes to the true and everything else to the false. Thus, a simple predication like 2 is prime becomes analyzed in Frege's system as a special case of functional application. And then it goes on to talk about the predicate calculus within Frege's term logic, and so on. Complex statements and generality, and so on, and so on. And so on. So it's very, very what is it? What could you say? It's very well, this is a good a good page to learn about Frege's contributions to the field of logic. Uh, it sounds like he's leaning more towards a mathematical kind of logic, maybe, or to use symbols to figure out if a logical system works, perhaps. So, let's see. Oh, I was going to go over here and maybe save that link. For, let's see. I'll send it to this one. Maybe I can send it to this. So let's stop sharing now. Maybe we're still in, okay. Yeah. Let's stop sharing and then start sharing again. I want to see. I think I tried this before, but I want to see again. If I go to archive.org, and what if we type in Frege logic? Frege logic. Is this considered a general search if you don't put the exact website? Let's see. Mike A. Robinson.com. Where's that? Algebra fuzzy. Guitar test. Mike Robinson. Oops. See. Algebra fuzzy. What's this? Algebra fuzzy. Let's see. I think this is in Italian or something. Commutative algebra. Maybe not. The book is the first to be devoted entirely to fuzzy abstract algebra. It presents an up to date version of logic commemorative algebra, focuses on the object fuzzy and I can't. I was trying to see if I could find something. Let's see. So this is the century since the publication of Frege's Schrift has seen a tremendous growth in the development and study of logical systems. The variety of this growth is as impressive as its scale. One can distinguish four major areas of development, two in formal and two in philosophical studies. The development of the standard logical apparatus, beginning with Frege's and Russell's and Whitehead's presentation of the syntax of sentence and predicate calculi, subsequently supplied with a semantics by the work of, for example, Post, Wittgenstein, Lowenheim, Inken, and studied methodologically in the work of Church and Gödel in the development of non-standard calculi such as the modal logics initiated by C.I. Lewis, the many-valued logics initiated by Luca Swiewicz, or Seawitz, or Seawicz, and post, the institutionist logics initiated by Brouwer. Alongside these, one has philosophical study, the application of these systems to informal arguments of the interpretation of the sentence connectives and quantifiers of such concepts as truth and logical truth, and study of the aims and capacities of formalization by those such as Carnap and Quine, who are optimistic about the philosophical significance of formal languages, by those such as F.C.S. Schiller and Strawson, who are skeptical of the pretensions of symbolic logic to philosophical relevance, and by those such as Dewey, who urge a more philosophical and dynamic conception of logic over the prevailing one. Man, what a paragraph, and it warmed me out, but I managed to read it. So that that's just the preface. But what if we start where it's if we were taking a class on the philosophy of logic, what would the professor be talking about? So the first day, the professor would be talking about the philosophy of logics. And then, so the first day, he might say, he might type, no, he might write on the bulletin board, no, on the blackboard, on the green board. He would write logic, philosophy of logic, and metalogic. So this business of philosophy of logic, as I understand it, is to investigate the philosophical problems raised by logic. As the business of the philosophy of science is to investigate the philosophical problems raised by science, and of the philosophy of mathematics to investigate the philosophical problems raised by mathematics. A central concern of logic is to discriminate valid from invalid arguments and formal logical systems, such as the familiar sentence and predicate calculi, are intended to supply precise canons, purely formal standards of validity. Some among the characteristically philosophical questions raised by the enterprise of logic are these. What does it mean to say that an argument is valid, that one statement follows from another, that a statement is logically true? Is validity to be explained as relative to some formal system, or is there an extra systematic idea that formal systems aim to represent? What has being valid got to do with being a good argument? How do formal logical systems help one to access formal arguments? How, like, and is, and, for instance, and what should one think of P and Q, the standing as standing for? How does one recognize a valid argument or a logical truth? Which formal system count as logics and why certain themes occur, and concern with the scope and aims of logic, the relations between formal logic and informal arguments, and the relations between different formal systems. Oof, that's a long paragraph. So I got through this one and that one, but, but I'm not. I'm gonna stop there. So we're getting a minor taste on the book Philosophy of Logics by Susan Hack. Hack. It's not such a new book. It's not. It's not old either, but it's still valid, I'd say. It was first published in 1978. It was pretty successful because they kept reprinting it. I guess they were using it at certain colleges and universities because it got reprinted quite a bunch of years, like from 1979 to 2000. That's about 20 some years, maybe 21 years. It got reprinted uh, about 11 times. So maybe every other year it got printed. Well, the last one being the year 2000, so they quit printing it. Mm, well, as far as I can tell, maybe they keep printing it. I should check Amazon to see what they say about this book. So I should go over here. Amazon. Hmm. So I go to here, and then so I go to amazon.com. Mm, 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 mm. See if I can find it. So if I type in here the word philosophy, philosophy of philosophy of logics, hack. There it is. It's $34 paperback. So you can get e-textbook. Is it? So that you can use it on Kindle. There's paperbacks being sold from $18 to $34. Supposedly you can buy it brand new for $34. So does it mean that they're still printing it or what? So I should follow her. Let's see. The pro. So this, so they keep publishing it because this one's published in 2010. Uh-huh. Maybe mine was published in 2000. I don't know. Doesn't look that old. 2000. Somebody wrote as a reviewer. I highly recommend Philosophy of Logics to all who are familiar with at least first order predicate logic and wish to improve their understanding of logic, in addition to the addressing fundamentals such as validity, sentence connectives, quantification, names and theories of truth. It also illustrates extensions and restrictions of the two value propositional and first order predicate logic. So somebody else says in the reviews on Amazon, it says this guy Evelrag says most lucid and accessible introduction to the field by far. Philosophy of logic, well, a discipline which really must be learned at the feet of a master. But for us ordinary folk who have to get through logic courses, Hack's book, despite the odd title, is a masterpiece of lucidity, simplicity, and comprehensiveness in a field where virtually all other entrees, like Greek for the Greekless, or, well, logic for the logicless. Hmm. Oh, good, not great. Heck, does a decent job of introducing the important aspects of the philosophy of logic and introduces some intriguing theories of her own. But her style is dry and not easy to approach, even for a philosophical text. And someone else says, a bit difficult, but very rewarding. If you just heard something about logic and is looking for something interesting to read, there may be easier and funnier books. But if you have some knowledge of elementary formal logic and are motivated to take some time to learn about the philosophy of logic, this is a very rewarding book. It is a real modern analytic philosophy as its test. Old but still good. If you're familiar with classical formal logic and you are doing a course in philosophical logic, or you just want to understand it better, Hacks is definitely the best book to buy. In comparison, Grayling's similar instruction is waffly and doesn't establish as clearly as Hack does what logic is and why we should care. Hacks, Hacks. Oof. Oh, clear confidence surpassing this is very clear. Modal logic. So it covers not only classical logic, but modal logic and non-classical logics. Found it fascinating, but I have to say that I'm not very much in sympathy with the later Wittgenstein in finding the legacy of Frege and Russell to be a disaster, leading directly to today's world where everything is run by algorithms, leaving no room for nuance and discretion. Early on in the book, the author remarks that some of the knobs and bumps in the English language. Early on in the book, the author remarks that some of the knobs and bumps in the English language are important. Exactly so. I fail to see how there is an X which Socratizes, and whatever Socratizes took poison. This is an improvement over Socrates took poison. So, hmm. So, what if I bought it like this? Oh, this way. How much would it cost? Is that, yeah, it's for Kindle. Oh, is that this to rent it? Oh, you can only rent it. Man, to think about that. Hmm. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to here and let's go back. Oh, to buy it is $28. To rent it is $13.64 for, for a bunch of months. Uh, I'll think about it. Maybe send a free sample. No, I won't do that now. So what I will do is stop sharing. I'm gonna say goodbye because I'm tired. I want to sleep, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry if this reading is tough.